Hello, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. You're very welcome to our Startup Women Industry Advisory Circle for Women in Professional Services. I'm Isabel Nolan. I'm the Program Manager for the Startup Women and Startup Global programs at Startup Canada. To begin, I would like to acknowledge the land on which I am on today is located on the unceded and traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, also known as Vancouver. As we are a national organization, I would also like to respect the diverse histories and cultures of all Indigenous peoples. And I encourage you to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional territory that you're residing on today. Today's session is being recorded and we will add it to our Startup Women resource guide, along with any resources shared during today's session. So a little bit about Startup Canada, if you're not familiar with us, we're a national nonprofit that's the gateway to Canada's entrepreneurial ecosystem. We're here to connect entrepreneurs with the community, tools, and support that they need to build a successful business in Canada. Since launching in 2012, Startup Canada has grown to support more than 130,000 entrepreneurs annually and an ever-growing community of ecosystem partners from coast to coast to coast. And dedicated for showing up for women all year round, Startup Women is an annual program offering support to early-stage women-identifying entrepreneurs across Canada through topic-focused webinars, industry advisory circles like this, and meetings with startup women leaders. We know that when you support women, you support a nation. These monthly industry advisory circles will provide you, the attendees, with a deeper understanding of trends and best practices within your sector, and leave with actionable takeaways and resources that you can implement into your business. We have a short message from our co-presenting partner, the Scotiabank Women Initiative, which we'll play now.
The Scotiabank Women Initiative is dedicated to your success on your terms.
I'm shaping our industry's vision for the future.
I can expand my business without borrowing from my family.
I know I can face anything thanks to my network.
I'm ready for my next chapter.
I'm inspiring future leaders.
I'm making sure my family's future is secure.
Define your success, and we'll help you achieve it. With unbiased access to capital and tailored solutions, bespoke specialized education, and holistic advisory services and mentorship. Join our community of women today, the Scotiabank Women Initiative.
And another few big thank yous to our wonderful partners. So our other co-presenting partner is UPS. Program partners are EDC, Mastercard, and YSpace Ella. And we have a vast community of ecosystem partners as well, and we'll add a full list of them into the chat. So today's discussion session is centered around women in professional services, and we are very excited to dive into this conversation with our speakers and with you as well. So I'll take you through what the next 2 or so hours will look like. So in a moment, I'm actually going to invite all of our attendees to do a quick introduction of themselves. You can either do this on camera or in the chat. If your camera is on, I'll assume that you're comfortable introducing yourself, and I'll call on your name to start. So just give us a quick introduction, let us know your name, where you're located, a quick sentence maybe about your business or what you're hoping to get out of today's conversation. Really helps myself and the speakers know who exactly is in the room, and we can ensure that we're catering to your needs. So we'll do that for about 15 minutes. And also please feel free to add your LinkedIn profiles into the chat, your Instagrams, and we're also here to make connections as well. So connect with each other in the chat. So after that, we will go on to our entrepreneur expert talks, where our 2 speakers will take us on their journey of starting their business within this space. Following that, we then will open it up into a panel discussion, and I have some questions drafted, but I always say in these sessions that we're here for you, the attendees. So my questions are very much conversation starters, and I will absolutely give the attendees priority with their questions. So if you do have a question, you can use the raise hand function and come on screen and ask, or you can ask in the chat and I can ask on your behalf, whatever you're more comfortable with. But I love to see these sessions being driven by attendees' questions and their engagement. So I'm more than happy to not touch any of my questions at all today. So just bear that in mind, but I will continue to remind you, and hopefully you feel comfortable enough to come on screen and ask your questions. And then our final segment of the day will be our networking breakout rooms. So these have been a really great hit from our past sessions. So we're going to be continuing this. We'll do this for about 30 minutes. And what we'll do is we'll put you into a breakout room with 3 to 4 people. And it's really for you to have some intentional networking. Presumably you're all working within, the professional services space. So this is an opportunity for you to meet someone else working in this space. And we ask that everyone sort of comes in with an ask and an offer. So we'll do 3 rounds of these at 10 minutes each. I'll give you more details on sort of what to expect before we go into the rooms. But we will get started with our attendee introductions. So like I said, if you have your camera on, I'm going to assume you're comfortable introducing yourself on camera. So the first person I have here is Mary Lee Forrest.
Hi, thank you so much. So I'm Mary Lee, and I'm coming to you from the Collingwood area today. I am a financial planner and money coach. So I work with a lot of couples and entrepreneurial women, and I help them organize their finances, get clear on their plan for retirement, and really help them keep on top of their money decisions and money tasks. And I started my business 2 years ago after a 24-year corporate career in wealth management. It's nice to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Next up, I have Veronica.
Hello, everybody. My name is Veronica, and I'm a business development consultant for PO Canada. And what we do is we actually provide services with payroll, HR, benefits, and workers' compensation all under one. So we provide all that administration background at the end with organizations with 1 employee to several hundred employees in all industries. And I'm here to see how I can support women with our services so we can help grow each other with each other's businesses.
Thank you, Veronica. Aisha.
Hi there, good morning. My name is Aisha. I am in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm the founder and director of Aisha Mamrel Projects, Inc. So I have a project management consulting firm that also offers coaching and independent contracting. So my company's mission is ultimately to transform vision into executable action. Projects can be overwhelming. People don't know where to start. How many people do we need? How long is it going to take? And then just chaos. But I'm here to say there is a method to the madness. And my company definitely helps to jump in and help organizations reach their initiative, that whatever it may be, small businesses, large businesses, and non-for-profits. And a new solopreneur, I would say. So I started my business in November. I wrapped up at my last full-time employment job at the end of March. So since then, I have committed to 3 networking events a week, and it has been just an amazing opportunity to meet other fellow entrepreneurs and to network a little bit. And I'm using this opportunity to learn as much as I can about being an entrepreneur.
Fantastic. Congrats on taking the leap from being full-time in your business. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Next up, Kait Hansen.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Kait Hansen, and right now I am in the midst of developing and expanding on coaching services. I work with professionals who are dealing with self-image changes, whether it is something that happens outside of them, health-wise, family-wise, financial, and helping them kind of get more intentional about the life that they're creating and about the business that they're creating. It's been a really incredible ride. I work with a lot of people in the financial industry just by relationships that I have a lot of in that area, but I work with a lot of women who want to really create a new identity for working women, working moms, and show what is possible when you are intentional about how you spend your time. So I am really excited to be on here because I love learning from other business owners, from other startups. There's just so much to learn, and it's nice to hear it from different people and apply their stories, because I feel like it saves us a lot of time, energy, and money when we can learn from other people. So thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kate. And anyone that's just joined, we're doing quick introductions of everyone here. So please feel free to put your camera on and I'll call on you for your introduction, or you can introduce yourself in the chat. Next, we have Kira Kelsey. Okay, Kira might be away from their desktop, so I will go to Sadhna. It looks like you're in a beautiful tropical place.
Hello, I'm Sadhna Isik, joining from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm an electrical and computer engineer. I graduated from University of Manitoba. I have my one social enterprise and the nonprofit. The social enterprise doing IT solutions and cybersecurity for profit and small business. The nonprofit is supporting as a business consultant and mentor for the newcomer immigrants and whose English as a second language, which was my pain point and my niche, helping them to get into the Canadian entrepreneur landscape. So I participated twice in a startup tour, and I missed Winnipeg one because I was traveling. Oh. So I'm so excited to always to join Startup Canada programs, and I am here right now. I'm give away IT support and cybersecurity. Whoever new entrepreneurs, it is free right now, and I would like to support them. So I will put my information here. Anyone can connect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sadhna. And sad you missed our Winnipeg event, but maybe next time.
Yes.
Nicole Truster.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Troster. I am the manager for YSpace Ella. YSpace Ella is an accelerator for women entrepreneurs. We do a lot of work with women in professional services. It's probably one of our #1 areas in terms of the businesses that we help to accelerate. Just want to learn more about service providers, potential partners, and just some of the challenges and maybe even solutions that people are exploring, and just looking forward to connecting. So thank you for having me on this call, Isabel, and to your team, and just really enjoying being part of all of the Startup Canada initiatives.
Thanks so much, Nicole. Appreciate it. Maria, would you like to come on, introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks. Hi, everybody. My name is Maria DiCarlo. So I am a solo entrepreneur at the time, and for Maria the OT, I'm an occupational therapist over here on the East Coast of Canada. So I'm in Fredericton currently, and that's my business where I work a lot with people with ADHD, as someone with that lived experience of sort of chronic illness, disability, things like that, just really helping us find like the liberation and light in us again. And then through especially learning about sensory processing and the nervous system, and a lot of the stuff I've been doing lately, which I'm having a lot of fun with and offer as an open service, is sort of speaking and doing educational talks and workshops to help organizations understand how they can better support all of their people, because we all have a nervous system. So it's a lot of fun. It's really creative and really collaborative and exciting. And I also have another organization or company, which is Purple Orange Studios, and that just revolves anything art from the heart. And yeah, that's where I do a lot of writing, a lot of creating, and it doesn't really have like a public facing space, but it is where I can like nurture that, and also offer things that are a little different than OT, like Reiki services and such. So yeah, it's great to meet everyone and look forward to connecting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maria. Next up, I have Wani.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. Um, thank you, Isabella, for this event. So I currently work as to begin my entrepreneurial journey. So this event, and just to see what's out there. I'm looking to service immigrants, newcomers, women in financial planning and wealth coaching. And I'm just here to connect and just promote entrepreneurs. So thank you for having me here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming. Next up, Katie Baker.
Hello. I did put my information in the chat because I am still sweating from a bike ride. I'm coming from Toronto. I work with entrepreneurs on their pricing. I am a CPA, CMA, and I also have my CITP. I have a piece of technology called My Pricing Coach, and the vertical is service-based professionals. So really happy to be here, excited to meet other people on the call event. Yeah. And thanks for hosting this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie. Tiffany. Just unmuting, I think.
Okay. Hi. Sorry. Apologies. I'm Tiffany Pocock. My partner Anna Godo had introduced herself in the chat. We are management at the levy. We are civil engineers that just want to help municipalities and anyone else who needs a little bit of help with engineering. Civil engineering. We love stormwater, and sewers and roads. And we're just here to get a little bit of information and make connections and network.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tiffany. All right, I think I have time for the 3 more introductions. So I'll go to Charlotte N first.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charlotte. Nice to meet you all and join this event. I have a background in marketing, so I do consulting for businesses as well as blend it with a health and wellness aspect, more a holistic aspect with yoga, meditation, and coaching. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Joseph.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Joseph, obviously. I run a health and wellness organization. My ears perked up when I just heard that. But I am more on the side of corporate health and wellness. So I run an organization that specializes in ergonomic assessments from light industrial to sedentary work. I don't do the heavy industrial stuff. And I also do absence management solutions. So for all those employees with larger organizations that have employees that go off sick, short-term disability, long-term disability, I manage those cases as well. And then the third umbrella in our organization is wellness. So wellness strategies, helping larger organizations plan how they want to design their give backs to their employees and the organization as a whole. We're based in Toronto. I started the business 22 years ago as a solopreneur, and COVID kind of delayed my plans to expand and grow because, most of my work was on site at that point. So here we are post-pandemic, and I am planning on, I'm in the process of growing and scaling, and hope to include, I'm already national across Canada and hope to include some US companies as well. So that's me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Heather. And final introduction is for Christine Chen.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. My name is Christine Chen. I am the owner and principal recruitment consultant of Inoli Recruitment. And we help companies find top talent and also equip job seekers to find dream jobs. And happy to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So thank you so much to everyone who introduced themselves either on camera, in the chat. It is really great to kind of warm everyone up to asking their questions later. So we'll move on now to our entrepreneur expert talks. So speakers, when I introduce you, maybe you can give a little wave so everyone knows who you are. So very happy to have Kait Shiels, who is the founder of Spark Social Agency, and Debbie Chen, Holistic Wealth Coach, and from the Holistic CFO. So we are going to kick things off with Debbie telling us a little bit about her entrepreneurial journey into this space. So Debbie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Isabel. Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you here. My name is Debbie Chen, and I'm the founder of the Holistic CFO. And I'll share a little bit of my journey, and then that will lead to what I do today. My attempt to be an entrepreneur started way before the pandemic. I think it would have been maybe 7 years ago when I had a really bad breakup, and I got into, started to find my spiritual journey. So I was going to sound bath sessions and Reiki sessions, and that's when I realized that I actually really enjoy the spirituality side of the world. So through that, I got Reiki certified. I'm a Reiki master teacher, and right before the pandemic, I hit a point in my accounting career. So in my former life, I'm an accountant. I'm still CPA, CGA. And right before the pandemic, at the end of 2019, I felt like I hit a wall. I felt like I was doing accounting day in, day out. I wasn't really sure what I was doing it for. I felt like I didn't really, I was like, what is the purpose in this? And do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And that's when I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's actually a coach. I didn't know she was a coach at the time. I didn't know she was a certified coach at the time. And she said, Debbie, why don't you try finding some directions by attending this fundamentals in coaching course, and it's online because of they're expecting that there's going to be a pandemic. I think that was at the beginning of 2020. And I thought, okay, sure. I was like, what's there to lose? I couldn't possibly think of anything else that I wanted to do. So I give it a try, hoping to find direction. I didn't think I was going to become a coach, but I ended up falling in love with it. I was like, this is what I need to do for the rest of my life. And so that's kind of how I transitioned from coaching, from accounting to coaching. And where the Reiki and the spirituality come into place is as I started coaching, I was really enjoying coaching people, especially women who are going through career transitions. And I was assisting at the coaching school, Coactive Coaching Institute at the time. And one of the participants came to me and said, will you do financial coaching with me? And I was leaving that accounting corporate world. So I was like, I don't know. I'm a career coach now. I'm not sure if I want to go back to numbers, even though I love working with numbers. And she was actually quite an experienced coach. She's just never really got licensed. And she's been in the industry for 20 years. And she looked at me and she said, Debbie, I think we should work together. Do you want to give it a try? And so I said, okay, if you're so sure, then I guess I'm sure too. So 6 months later, we were close to the end of the relationship coaching engagement. And she said, I think you should look into money mindset. And this is how the niche was brought to me. She realized that I was really, in addition to the numbers that I love talking about, I was more interested in the spirituality of numbers, or the emotions and the energy of how abundance flows. So looked into money mindset, got really deep into Lynn Twist's book, The Soul of Money, took some of her online courses and just did my own self-study. And now I do money mindset coaching, money story healing coaching. I still practice Reiki. Sometimes I do Reiki on my clients as their coaching. And I still do a little bit of accounting on the side because I realize that I still really miss it. I still quite love it. And I do facilitations. I run money story workshops that allow women to talk about their money stories, and by talking about it, believing that elevate and heal their stories. And I also speak in different engagements. And I think I want to speak on, I think Isabel had in the little blurb, you said, maybe talk a little bit about some of the challenges and the struggles that I have faced as a coach. And I want to say at the beginning, I started when I was 30, this was 4 years ago. So when I was 35, and as an Asian woman or a woman or a woman of color who just looks a little younger than her age at the time, I had a lot of struggles with working with women who were older than me. And I actually had one client who came, one potential client when I was talking to her, she ended up working with me. But at the beginning, she said, I'm glad you told me you had over 10 years of accounting experience, because otherwise I wouldn't want you to coach me. And that was exactly because of, she said, and I was like, may I ask why? And she said, because you look too young. And I wasn't able to take you seriously. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges, to make myself present in the way that I really show the professionalism and my experience. But also in my heart, I was a little bit hurt as to, like, the coaching is all about authenticity. And I definitely had to overcome the stories in my head that goes, oh, you look too young, you can't be a coach. So yeah, I wanted to share that before I pass it on to Kait.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for bringing us along your journey, and yeah, for sharing that as well. Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll definitely dig into more of the challenges in a little bit. But Kait, we will pass it over to you to bring us along your journey.
Well, thank you. So as Isabel said, I'm Kait Shiels. I'm founder of Spark Social Agency. So we are a boutique social media agency, really just focusing on social media for clients. So we offer social media marketing, influencer marketing, and content creation for social media. And my entrepreneurial journey really started from a place that I think a lot of people do, which is burnout and just like not being happy in my 9 to 5. You know, I was in my early 20s. I was working for an exciting agency on big client accounts, attending these events, putting in hours to prove myself, and just finding that no matter how hard I was pushing or how late I worked, I was never really getting on top of client work. I wasn't happy myself with the work I was producing. I didn't feel supported by my boss. And definitely as I dug in and spoke to other friends in the industry and voiced the issues that I was facing, I realized that it was just an industry issue, and we were told to put in our dues. And you know, you're lucky if you close your laptop at 7 p.m. And you put in the hours for 10 years, 15 years, and maybe you'll get in-house and be able to get back to living a life. I was noticing my health was really affected by it. You know, terrible anxiety. I wasn't eating properly. Again, just the same story that I feel like resonates with so many female entrepreneurs. And so I started thinking of ways out. And for me, that was building up clients on the side. And, you know, after my 9 to 5 was done, I did put in the extra hours. I didn't really focus on the issue of scaling back. I tried scaling up a little bit so that I could get my own clients and really control the brands and the people that I worked with. And then as I was doing that, I did find another position at a different agency. And this agency, we worked with bigger clients on bigger projects, which you'd think would exacerbate the problem. But the agency's culture was just so much different. It was more dynamic, and our leadership was really supportive and was very mindful of bandwidth. And there was a lot more transparency with our clients. And you know, we weren't doing sneaky marketing things where we were not being truthful about our billings and things like that. So I did learn a lot from that agency and realize that it wasn't necessarily an industry problem that I was having with the work that I was doing. It was more a culture issue that is definitely very prevalent. So as I was working with this new agency, I was still managing to sort of collect my own clients on this side and build that portfolio. And after a couple of years, you know, I had enough clients where I could work for myself full time. And I definitely took those lessons, the good and the bad, from both agencies. And I'm very mindful of those lessons today as I build and scale. And some of those sort of biggest lessons that I learned is, you know, centering how I was treated when I first started out, and really focusing on healthy relationships and focusing on relationships in every decision we make. And that's decisions with our clients, that's decisions with our team, and trying to balance on how I can serve our clients, serve our team, and then also serve the business as well. You know, to be successful as a brand on social media, we always talk about connecting with your audience. So I feel like if I take that same approach with Spark as an agency, connecting with our clients, connecting with our team, you know, that definitely sets us up for success. And yeah, I mean, now we're really proud to have worked with a number of brands. Some of our clients have been with us for 5+ years, and our points of contact have taken us from one brand to another as they switch jobs. Our team is, you know, they put in the work, and they are dynamic and creative while they're working 9 to 5, but they have the flexibility where they get unlimited paid time off, so they can go on those vacations. You know, we have somebody who just started who needed to pick up her daughter from daycare and was so apologetic. So making sure, like, why are you apologetic? This is life. Is you have kids in daycare, you have other priorities. We've definitely noticed has really made an impact on just our team dynamic and how happy they are, and that shows in our client work and our deliverables for clients.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kait. Yeah, it's really interesting to learn more about where you both started, and you know, it sort of sounds like you took sort of negative experiences or coming from a place where you weren't happy, and you just kind of took control and forged your own path and carved out a really nice niche for each of yourselves. My first question was going to be asking you about your struggles or challenges when you're starting your business, but it sounds like you kind of both talked about that. I would love to hear from our attendees in the chat, like what are some of your current challenges that you're facing right now, and perhaps we can kind of touch on those. So please feel free to add into the chat if there's a specific challenge you have at the moment that maybe we can center some of our questions around. But I'd love to ask you each about, you know, your each of the markets that you're serving, I guess. And so how did you each go about identifying what your target market was within the professional services space? And Debbie, maybe I'll go to you first for that.
Thanks, Isabel. My target client or my target market are women, and especially women of color. And how that kind of landed was the more people I was having when I first started, when I was having sample coaching sessions, the more I realized that they were able to connect with me. I was able to connect with them a little bit more, understanding with where the culture comes into play, and especially as immigrants. So naturally, my clients, it's kind of how they found me. I always say, I feel like my clients are brought to me by, I'm very spiritual, so I'm going to use the word universe, and they're brought to me by the universe. And I have coached men in the past, but they just, because of the wording, I guess, and Kait will probably know more about this in marketing, probably because of the wording of what I do and my modality, I tend to attract women more, and especially women of color.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Kait, how about yourself, when you were sort of in the process of thinking about who you were looking to serve with your business? What was that process like?
Yeah, I found that sort of just identified itself. I started, maybe the name Spark Social tends to attract more women and tends to attract organizations that, you know, prioritize social media. But we actually don't necessarily have a niche when it comes to services, when it comes to industries. We serve a range of industries, from consumer to B2B to like healthcare and clinical trials. We really focus, though, when we're meeting new clients, that person that we're meeting is our ideal person. This is a person that if I'm meeting them on a weekly call, I look forward to it. It's a person that I can tell is going to take our guidance and be collaborative, and that their energy matches our energy. And yeah, just as, we know we're going to be a good fit. We really did niche down when it came to the service aspect though. When I first started, we tried offering like any marketing service under the sun. You need copywriting, I'll do it. You need email, I'll figure it out. And that just spread me too thin, especially when I was a solo entrepreneur. So really focusing on what I did really well, what made me feel creative and gave me energy, which was social media and those social media services. And because of that, we're able to really focus on delivering that to our clients, and we're on top of the updates. We know exactly what's happening. We have these strategies from across different industries, but they are focused on that one core service.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, in wanting to ensure that you can offer anything so that you can attract everyone, just to kind of get the ball rolling. But you definitely kind of honing in on exactly what your vision is for the business, I think helps with defining exactly who your ideal customer is, I guess. And when you were starting out, how did you attract those first few clients? And then maybe also talking about client retention at the same time as well. So you're getting these, where are you getting these new clients? And then what was that process like, building those relationships? Kait, I'll go back to you for that first.
Yeah, absolutely. So at first I had to go out and find them. Like I said, I was working my 9-to-5 job. I didn't have a ton of money to just go and build all these marketing services, pay for Google ads, build a website that was professionally made. So I joined freelancing websites and I looked at job boards and I connected with people on LinkedIn that I thought could be my target. And I started really building this client list of offering and showing them sample work that I had created before, so that I could build up. And then as far as client retention goes, I think a big focus of that is, again, just focusing relationships at the heart of it, and making sure that we're delivering what the client expects. And if they have expectations that are too high, we manage those, and having that fast communication with them. And I always say, my team and myself, is that our job isn't social media. Our job is to make our clients look good and feel successful. So for them, I mean, it is doing deliverables and creating this work, but it's also empowering them with knowledge so that they can go to their team and answer questions without saying they have to email us. And so just making sure that, yeah, we're providing them the value that they're looking for and being realistic about it.
I love that. That's a really great mindset for you to kind of put onto your team, with your clients. Debbie, how about you in attracting your first clients, and then again, retaining those relationships?
Yeah, when I first started, I honestly had no idea what I was doing. I always had a job, and the one best advice that I was given in the coaching world, from the teachers of the schools, is that just write a sincere email to all of your friends and your contacts. And that's how I got one of my first clients. Through certification, I needed 5 paying clients and I had none. And that's how I was able to fill all 5 seats. And from there, I had a little bit more confidence. I started my social media. I did my own website, of which I had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of go like, I needed a picture. People need to see my face. I did a little blurb just so it looked a little bit professional. And from there, I started my Instagram account, and I was really feeling just intuitively that I wanted to, through all the different media channels, social media channels, Instagram was going to be my thing. And I got a couple of clients from there, and then through word of mouth, I was getting more and more clients. And I want to say, in terms of social media, and I don't know, maybe Kait can have more insights, but I find that intuitively how I connect to my social media shifted. I started with Instagram. At one point, I was on TikTok just because I felt like doing a little bit more funny videos. And then just in the last 2 years, getting into more of the professional, the wealth coaching, I felt like I was more aligned with LinkedIn. So I tried a little bit of everything. I also like variety. So I think knowing your energy and knowing how you work is so important. And through that, I was able to get clients from different channels. So I even the other day, I was like, which channel of social media got me the most clients? And I couldn't really tell because I was having people reaching out to me through my website, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then so in terms of client retention, again, coming back to how I want to work as a coach, and I realized that I had longer engagements with my clients, say like between 6 to 12 months. And I realized that I personally didn't enjoy that as a coach. I want clients who are quick, they're driven, they're determined, they identify their money mindset that they want to shift, and they go and make actions. So I realized that 3 to 6 months is how long I want to work with my clients. Through the 3 to 6 months, the client retention, maintaining of the client relationship is that really create a heartfelt relationship with the clients. See them not just as clients, but also I want to be their ally. I want to be able to support them, but also I had the mindset, because I didn't want a longer engagement, I had the mindset of like, I will help you to a point that you don't need me anymore. And because of that, clients appreciate it, and they will refer clients to me as well who appreciate the same method. And even after our coaching engagement ends, I still talk to my clients, my very first client from 4 years ago. So it's just to check in, making sure that they're doing okay, and hop on a chat, half an hour. I'm quite generous with my time when it comes to my past clients, and just say, is there anything that you need? So that's how I like to approach it.
That's so interesting that you kind of came to that conclusion of you had this really long relationship with your clients and you thought, no, you know what, I want to see them be successful and move on, and like you said, not need me anymore. I think it's also a really great like measure of your work and your success, to be able to set someone up in a 3 to 6 month period, to be like, okay, you're good, you can move on now from from my services, but I'm here if you need me. I think is also a really great sentiment. Thank you to the people that shared some of their challenges in our chat. I saw there was a question, a comment / question from Kathleen. I'll read it out, and I guess it kind of goes into funding and financing with your business, which was something I wanted to touch on as well. So Kathleen said, one of my challenges that I'm presently dealing with is although I have a lot of inventory and equipment, around 300K plus, I've been unsuccessful in getting financing to move to a more efficient location. I'm blaming the inability to get financing at my age, almost 61, and the fact that I had to take a lot of time off from business to help my parents before they passed. Kathleen, I'm very sorry about that. To our speakers, do you have any advice for Kathleen with their situation? Any advice you can provide, either Debbie or Kait?
I'm probably not the best person for advice here, because I did sort of self-fund and keep putting money back into the business as I retained that 9-to-5 job.
I self-funded as well, but just by reading the message, if I can talk energy for a second, you went through a really traumatic experience, Kathleen, and I think a lot of times we can't be everything for everyone anywhere. And so I'm really sorry for the passing of your parents, and also please do take care of yourself. And I think we're going through a dip in your life, and I'm assuming that was what happened, because having lost a loved one is always really hard. It tends to affect other parts of your life, in this case, business, just on the energetic level. kind of looking at that, I was like, that might have been what happened. And in terms of getting funding, I'm not an expert in funding, especially through a financial institute. So I don't know if age is one of the reasons why. And I also know one of the biggest thing is income. So I don't know how much revenue you're bringing in and how much you're able to show the bank. My recommendation or suggestion is, if you haven't already, and I believe that you've done everything you can, but if you haven't already, maybe talk to someone who's legit and private, but legit, like private lending, but through proper channels. And also really kind of look at, as from an account, I'm putting on my accountant's hat, and I'm kind of hesitating, as you can hear from my voice, because I really want to be careful. You've got 300K plus of inventory and equipment. I wonder if there's any way that we can kind of shift that around and somehow turn that into cash in other methods. So without knowing all the details, it's really hard to tell you more as to what I think might be the best way. But I hope that makes sense. I think I felt like I was rumbling a little bit, and I was adding the numbers and the energy. So if you like to chat afterwards, I'm happy to chat with you. And I think there are actually a lot of people who in this room that might be able to help you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, can I just step in for a little bit? Besides what I do, I have some really great partnerships with some partners. I'm more than glad to refer you to one of my partners, or I actually have a couple of partners. There is new, I'm going to say, online portal applications or brokers that actually match you with a potential investor or finance company. I'm more than glad to share those resources that you are able to seek. I've seen these kind of scenarios actually through some of my contacts and clients that they are able to support. I didn't mention in my introduction, I'm in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. There's a lot of great resources in this area that actually help those kind of scenarios in many different scenarios that I'm more than glad to share. So I just wanted to let you know, and I will reach out to Kathleen, or just reach out. I'll put my information on the chat that I can connect you to those brokers that are able to assist with any kind of situation in any, whether startup, growth, equipment, working capital, all those wonderful things that I can share.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Debbie.
So Veronica, I love that you're offering to reach out, and I wanted to do the same. Definitely reach out to me. I offer 2-hour free coaching. This is not, I hope it's okay to offer that. Mindset is really important. And when you're in a dip, or when you're needing cash, I think it's really important to get the vibrate. I like to call it, get the vibration up. So happy to chat with you anytime.
Absolutely, more than welcome to that. And I love what you're saying and so forth. So yeah, we definitely can. We'll look forward to that for sure.
And Kathleen as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Debbie, for taking on. Yeah, it's difficult to sometimes, to answer some of these questions when we don't have like the full scope of it. So Kathleen, I do hope that was useful for you. Veronica, thank you so much as well for offering those connections to Kathleen. So Kathleen, if you need any assistance getting in touch with Veronica, otherwise you can share your information in the chat. But thank you both so much for that. So in kind of keeping with the funding side of thing, and both of our speakers, Debbie and Kait, as you said, you both self-funded your businesses, kind of starting off small and scaling as your client base grew. I'd love to talk about pricing. So can you tell us about the process, and how did you build your pricing structure, and then any lessons learned from the early days? Kait, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, of course. So pricing, I definitely priced way too low when I first started. Most agencies, especially the small scale that mine was when I started, was, we don't have pricing available. And the pricing that I did see on agency websites, you know, I had some imposter syndrome that I wouldn't be able to charge those prices. So I was really sort of floundering. What did end up working for me though is really working backwards and figuring out what I needed to make myself for this to be a viable career, leaving my 9-to-5 and then plus expenses, and then figuring out how many hours I was able to and wanted to work, and then dividing that, finding that hourly rate. And then adding, you know, a small profit for a small markup for profit and overhead so I could continue to scale. Our pricing now is pretty similar, and it, you know, it now has payroll and benefits and softwares and things like that. But yeah, definitely leading with what I need to and figuring out that hourly rate, and then how many hours a particular service would take has been really helpful.
Fantastic. And how about yourself, Debbie, in terms of figuring out what your pricing structure was? Any lessons learned in the early days?
Yeah, when I first started, I did something like that Kait did, is how much do I want to make in a year? And converting that to how much I think the market is charging, how many clients is that? And is that how many clients I want to maintain? And through that, then I had to come back and ask myself, do I provide more value than what I'm charging? So there's a little bit of everything as in the coaching and in professional services provider world. I always ask people, what do you value yourself? What do you value yourself at? And then at the beginning, one of the biggest things that I've learned was that as women, we continue to undervalue ourselves. We continue to undercharge. And so we burn out. And I definitely at the beginning hit that point of like, I was charging so little, I was feeling resentful and was really burning out periodically, like every 6 to 12 months. So by raising my rate energetically, I feel better, and I was attracting the right clients to come in. When I was charging lower, I was attracting clients who actually needed more time to process, and they, for some reason, naturally take less action. And when I was charging more, naturally, I was attracting clients who were really, really serious about this work, because they're like, if I'm paying Debbie this much money, I better do some work because I don't want this money to go to waste. So there's a good balance between who you want to serve, and for me, who I wanted to serve, what target, and how much am I providing the value. So I now coach different types of clients. I mainly do one-on-one. I'm expanding my services to couples, families, as well as corporate leaders. So I have 4 different pricing structures for those, and a little bit of how those prices came about. That just kind of happened in the last 6 months. I would have a low price. It's like, okay, I think that should be enough. And then I would have like a price of like, how much would I feel like, oh, this is good. This is pretty good. And then I go maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20% more, and go, or maybe 30 or 50, and go, okay, this is very scary and I'm not ready to be there yet. And then between the middle, like comfortable, neutral point and the holy crap, I can't charge 50% more, then I find the in-between points and go like, okay, this feels a little bit of a stretch, and it gets me excited. And I think it's that excitement would really help people attract the clients, because they're like, ooh, I get a new clients, and ooh, and I'm getting paid this much, and ooh, I get to provide this much more and then some of value to my clients.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a really great approach that you've both sort of taken with that. I want to throw it out to our attendees. Does anyone have any questions for our speakers? They'd like to come on camera and ask, or in the chat, and I can ask on your behalf. Want to make sure that everyone's getting their opportunity. Or also if there's anything that we've spoken about that you'd like to contribute. Want this to be a conversation with everyone. No questions? Katie, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, she's on mute.
Katie.
There, unmuted. I was going to say lead generation. The sort of fits and starts of your sales funnel. Is there any tools you have found that have worked in particular? I really like the idea of like composing an email to friends and associates. I mean, we probably don't get the word out enough, but just interested if there was tools, platforms, services that you've heard of or you've used that you could speak, could recommend.
Good question. Who would like to take it?
I'm happy to start. So lead generation for us now is a lot of inbound lead generation. We did eventually invest in that website, and we really focused on SEO and partnering with other, I think mostly female service providers to actually help build those functions for us. When it comes to composing email though, and outreach, one of the things my previous mentor had, she called the pub method for outreach. She was Irish background, so pub fit perfectly in her own personal branding, and it's personal, useful, and brief. So on LinkedIn, we get tens, 20, 30, 50 emails or messages a day saying, hey, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I can do for you. I personally don't read them anymore, as I'm sure many of you don't. So her thought with that is leading with something personal. So doing a quick scan of a LinkedIn profile. Did you go to the same college? Do you know somebody from the area they're in? Did they work at a company that you have some connection to? Not like serious stalking, but just some light, reading to see if there's something personal that you can lead with. And then offering something useful to them. So not leading by yourself, but is there an article that relates to their industry? For me, it could be like this new tool that is revolution, like AI tool that is impacting social media, and have I used it? And this article is really interesting. And then just being brief. So instead of having like a massive email, making it a couple of lines with a little ask at the end. I found that's really effective in leading and really sort of formed that connection from the beginning and pique somebody's interest, because you're leading by talking to them and about them. And, we're always interested in ourselves.
I love that. I'm going to use that for reaching speakers on LinkedIn.
It totally works.
Amazing. Thank you. Debbie, do you want to contribute to that question?
I'll add just a little bit. For me, I realized that I love connecting with people through talking. So I focused, I think I do the old traditional talking to different people, reaching out to different people, going to networking, especially the places that I really enjoy. There's a book called The Prosperous Coach. It's specifically for coaches, but I actually think his method can apply to a lot of different businesses. And what he talked about was exactly this, is to really create relationships. And for me, I think my clients usually come from word of mouth. And so just by having for example, if you go to different parts of the city, or if you travel, set up a call, set up a conversation, or get coffee with somebody that you know, and just talk about what you love or what you're doing, what you're up to. That's kind of how I've been attracting the clients. So I don't know if that helps.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you. Sorry, I'm currently trying to get the name of that book that you shared to.
I can send it. Yeah.
Got it. I think I got it here by
it's by Rich
Little.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Always love to share a good book with everyone. Thank you so much. Great question, Katie. Maria, you have your hand up.
Awesome, thank you. And it's been a great chat so far. So for me, I think one of the core things I'd love to hear from Kait and Debbie would be around that I've been sort of I've had my own business in some form for at least 2 years, part-time, and then recently has been more full-time. But what I'm noticing that's been just like a long-term trend. So I'm just wondering what each of you might say to like more so like if someone is at this stage of consistently now for almost longer than I had anticipated, and still just, I guess, maybe getting to the root of it, of letting people know we exist, and just having like I haven't fully understood what the crux of it is, because I do feel like I create a lot. I imagine myself sharing a whole bunch of things. Like I have content surrounding me for days that I genuinely was made out of love, authenticity, lived experience. But yeah, I've had a lot of word of mouth, or anytime I do tell people about my business, they light up, it lights me up, and I've had some really good opportunities. However, just knowing there's so much for me to breathe into, and actually showing up and owning that I do these things, there's something there where, and then it's, I guess, deciding, is it about the platform? Is it about comfort level, and just sort of what your interpretations or what you see as the pattern in the people that you work with, to get to the other side of that, or to kind of be able to create some movement in that journey, rather than finding almost a cycle has gone a little too repetitive. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Do either of our speakers want to speak to that?
I can go. Maria, I feel you, and that it's really hard as a practitioner, and I actually think this might sound counterintuitive, but the first step is take care of yourself, because when we take care of ourselves, we love ourselves. That love exert to your atmosphere, and you create this energy bubble that allows people to love you as well. And so what I see in a lot of coaches is, I had this one client who recently finished the 6 months relationship with me, and she ended up doubling her rate simply by slowing down and asking herself, how do I want to show up as a practitioner? How do I want to show up as a person? And in the book, The Prosperous Coach, he also talks about, by slowing down, you actually achieve more. And I'm not saying that this is you or any of you in this room. And what I see in a lot of service providing industry is that we over contribute. We feel like we need to put so much content out in order to reach out to people. But ultimately, energy is so important. And if you start taking care of yourself and slow down and go, what do I actually love doing? What do I do this for? Who are my ideal clients? You're taking so much action. And I always say there's in Coactive Institute, we call it co-active, and co is the being. And we as human beings so often forget who we're being. And because we're constantly in the doing, we burn out, we give too much. And that creates an energetic field of like, we're not worthy. And I'm not saying that this is any of you, and this is just what I'm seeing in the industry. So again, I'm happy to chat with you outside more about how to be that person who just walks around and says, this is what I do, and I'm happy, and look at my life, and it's amazing. And people are like, I want a piece of that. I want a piece of Maria. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Thanks so much. And thank you so much, Maria, for sharing. We have a few questions in the chat as well. So Elmira has said, I have an architectural firm. How do I deal with undercutting? If the other architectural firms are charging a quarter of what they are recommended to charge by the regulatory body, and we don't want to lower our value, how do we convince clients to work with us? Any advice from our speakers on that, or anyone else in the room?
I'm happy to jump in. I mean, definitely social media is different than an architectural firm, but I think across industries, there's always going to be, you know, competitors or others that are undercutting and undercharging. And I always, there's generally a reason that they're undercharging, and we know what our overhead is. I think, you know, most of us know we're not gouging our clients. We're offering value. And if they are charging significantly less, then there's going to be a gap in service somewhere and a gap in quality. We really lead with that focus. And we've worked with clients before that have worked with massive PR firms, and their social side of it is charging such a small amount, and they move over to that side and they find out that they're working with junior employees that just don't seem to care, and they're overworked themselves. So I think focusing on the value that you're providing and knowing that if your client is probably looking for the lowest price, they're likely not your ideal client. And then also having the marketing materials that reflect the value that you provide as well. I don't think that can be overlooked.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, great. I mean, it's a great question. And I think, yeah, to your point, if someone is going to those services instead of yours, yeah, perhaps they're just not your ideal client. And, you know, not everyone is going to be your client, and that's okay. So I think sticking firm with your pricing and knowing that the people that are coming to you are wanting to work with you within your pricing range as well. Marie Claire has asked, as a coach and a consultant, how do you overcome connection fatigue? So Debbie, maybe this is towards you. Marie said, I'm really good at connecting to people, clients, in a way that makes them want to keep chatting and going deeper, but I simply cannot scale if I go deep with each and everyone. So how do you scale professional services beyond the solopreneur stage to generate more revenues without tying your one-on-one time to it? Great question, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good question. And I think so many of you might resonate with that. Connection fatigue. As a highly sensitive and an empath, I hear you. It's really hard. And the one thing on the spiritual side, and I hope this is not too much woo stuff for this group, but on the spiritual side, really learn how to clear your energy at the end of each connection. And there are things you can do, whether it's creating bubbles, things you can look up online. I can also provide some resources outside. One of them is to set energetic boundary for yourself. Deep with your clients doesn't mean that you're losing your sense of self. Doesn't mean that you allow them to take all your energy. And so I think that's really important. And I get it as a coach. I don't coach 8 hours a day. That's just purely impossible. And so in terms of scaling, as part of reaching out to women and I had this mission of really wanting to have conversations with women about their money stories. And I started doing groups, and I realized I actually really enjoy it. And so now I run these fireside chats. And so that's also a way to scale as well. If you're a coach and a consultant, especially a coach, can you do group workshops? Can you do group coaching? And once you get really good at one workshop, can you record them? Can you put them online and charge a fee? So that would be, and then it becomes passive income. So I think that would be a one recommendation I would give when it comes to scaling. But protecting your energy is so important, and whether you're spiritual or not. And so bringing in self-care, going for a walk, having structures that allows you, things that helps you really clear that connection is crucial as a coach and a consultant.
Thank you so much for that, Debbie. And yeah, I feel like that's applicable to a lot of people in the room probably, but fantastic question. Thank you so much, Marie Claire. All right, we are just about at time for our networking breakout rooms. So while my coworker Miriam is busy getting you into a room, I'll kind of take you through what you can expect with these. So before we put you in, we'll have you in a room with about 3 or 4 people. And we'll do this, I think, around 3 times for 10 minutes each. And it's really for you to have intentional networking with each other, get to know each other. These are entirely private rooms as well. They're not recorded, so everything is confidential. With that in mind, we do also ask that you are kind of considerate to everyone in the room, ensure that everyone in the room gets an opportunity to speak. We ask that you sort of sort of come in with an ask and an offer yourself. So if there's something that you're looking for advice on, or you are looking to be introduced to someone, or I think I saw in the chat, someone's looking for a person that works within the PR space. So, you know, if you have sort of an ask, also coming in with an offer as well. So, so that, you know, perhaps your offer can be the answer to someone's ask and vice versa. So we'll do them for about 10 minutes. If we notice that there's about like 2 people in one room, if someone leaves, we might switch you around. And then if you have any issues at all, you can always come back into this main room, and myself and Miriam will be happy